Hello, dear students. I am Sampada Sawant, Assistant Professor of Philosophy. In this video, we are going to cover Unit 1 of your paper Living Ethical Issues. The topic covered here is bioethical issues, and the first topic that under this unit that we will cover is abortion. The issues that we will discuss are the abortion debate, that is the fetus, the unborn zygote, the unborn child, is the fetus a person? Arguments from pro choice, that is the abortionist, versus the anti abortionist or the pro life. These arguments will be presented. So let's begin. What is, first of all, abortion? Abortion is nothing but the premature expulsion. Premature is before it is matured. So, premature expulsion, removal of the product of conception. So premature killing of the baby, that is before 28 weeks of pregnancy. 28 weeks means 7 months. So abortion is the killing or the removal of the product of conception before 7 months. Because after 7 months, the fetus becomes viable. Viable, that is, it can live outside the mother's body, mother's womb. In India, it is legal, it is permissible. When it is permissible, if the pregnancy has not exceeded 12 weeks. 12 weeks means 3 months. So if the pregnancy has not gone beyond 3 months, then abortion is permissible, it is allowable. Let's first study the types of abortion now. There are two types of abortion when abortion is really permissible. One is the therapeutic abortion. In this kind, abortion is carried out to save the life of mother. Let's say the child is causing harm to the mother's life. Sometimes some women's reproductive system is not that strong enough to support the baby. While keeping the baby can harm the mother's life, such that the mother will end up dying if she has to keep the baby. So in these conditions, the mother's life is given preference over the child's life. And second is induced abortion. Induced is to cause something to happen. So letting someone do this. When what is induced abortion? So abortion is permitted to safeguard not only mother's physical and mental health, that is one aspect. You want, in order to save the mother's physical and mental health. But another factor that is taken into consideration is the humanitarian factor. Okay. Demographic is considering the population. You cannot just let people come in the world. So it's a very practical way of looking at abortion. Economics, the market factors. Eugenic is not causing people to carry out or consider their pregnancy because of genetic disorders in that mother. So let's say the mother or the couple had some genetic disorders in them, such that those genetic disorders will be passed on to the child. So, in such conditions, abortion is forced and on other social grounds. So, when is abortion legal or moral? It is legal or moral when it is a risk to the life of mother, and if it's a risk to the child who will be born with certain physical and mental abnormalities. So, let's say certain genetic disorders of the couple have passed on to the child. And if the mother decides that she still wants the child, it will be very unfair to the child because he will have to suffer for the rest of his life with those physical and mental abnormalities. He would be handicapped. So, in under these conditions, abortion is acceptable legally as well as morally. Okay, it won't be wrong for you to carry out abortion in these conditions. Now the question is, does abortion become morally good if passed by law? So just because now abortion has become legal, okay, it is acceptable by law. Do you think abortion should be carried out just because it is accepted by law? Now tomorrow, certain other things will be acceptable by law. Would you continue doing that? No, right? So just because something is acceptable in the society, would you prefer doing it? No. What do we mean when we say it is morally objectionable? So when I say abortion is morally objectionable, it is morally unacceptable. What do you mean by that? It only means one thing, that it won't be punishable by law. So let's say someone wants to carry out abortion. This person will not be punished by the law. He will not be put behind the jail. But it is morally objectionable. Just because you won't be jailed for carrying out abortion, does that mean you should carry out abortion? So let's come now to the debate of abortion and the perspectives involved. The main problem is an unsettled answer to the question, when does human life begin? This question has arisen as a result of a view that abortion results in killing of a being, and so therefore it is called murder also. It is difficult to answer a development of human being, which is a gradual process. You cannot say that once the child is born, he becomes a human being. No. Maybe right from the beginning, right from the time this child is conceived in the mother's womb, from that moment also it can be a human being. So it's a gradual process. There is no standard or measurement when a person, when a thing, when a creature becomes a human being. So death of a fertilized egg or zygote. So a fertilized egg is also called a zygote. Immediately after its conception, hardly is any cause for concern. Okay, so the moment this egg is fertilized, so that very moment, if it is died, if it is dead, then that is not the cause for concern. Okay, because a zygote is a tiny combination of cells. It cannot feel or be aware of anything. It is not a person right now. It's just combination of cells, right? Then why should the deliberate removal of an unwanted zygote arouse so much concern? So if you're just going to remove that combination of cells, that collection of cells, why is it so problematic? Because there is no obvious sharp distinction which makes a zygote different from an adult human being, a living human being. Another issue concerns two basic principles which come into conflict in abortion. The issue of value of life principle. Okay, it is in relation of an individual's freedom. So let's say a woman does not want to have this baby, so it's her freedom to choose, right? Choice of freedom. And moreover, it's the mother's right over her own body. Who, it is usually, it's a feminist argument in the society that a society cannot tell a woman what to do. She has right over everything, right from her own body to her decisions to everything. So can you really control what a woman wants in her life? So that is what the second argument is. And the last is the conflict between positions for and against abortion, which centers on absolute rights. According to strong anti-abortion position, fetus has an absolute right from the moment of conception because it is also a human, right? And like we discussed, from which point you should start calling something human, that is not determined, that is not decided. So this fetus also has absolute right to be born. And according to strong abortion on request position, so let's say when abortion is requested, so women badly wants to abort this child. Women also has this absolute right over her own body. So whom should you decide between? Should you decide for or make your decisions on the basis of the fetus's right, or should you depend upon the women's choice? Should you consider the absolute right of women? Now, in order to decide the morality of abortion, it is necessary to answer the fetus question now, to take a stand on when human life begins. So, is a fetus a human being? So, those who give a positive answer are anti-abortionist. Okay, they are against abortion. They support life because they say that the fetus is a person and abortion is a kind of homicide. It's a killing of a human being, which ought to be prohibited, which ought to be stopped. Anti-abortionists degree on whether or not abortion is morally right in tragic situations, okay, like rape or harm to mother's life. So it decides whether really the child born out of rape situation should be carried out or not, should be allowed to be born or not. So the argument is over that. So there are two positions. It forbids abortion completely, like no abortion at all in any condition. And the second position is allow for abortion only in tragic cases like rape, whether a child conceived, where the baby conceived was not in the hands of the woman. She was helpless at that time. And when it is bringing harm to the mother's life. So there are two positions in the anti-abortionist situation. Now, those who give a negative answer that a fetus is not a human being, they are abortionists. They support abortion. They are pro-choice. Okay, because even if they usually permit it in many cases, abortionists disagree on the limits within which abortion can be permitted, distinguishing between two positions. Okay, so they allow for abortion only for social reasons or to protect a woman's health. So if they feel the woman's health is at risk, they allow abortion. And secondly, they allow abortion only on demand. So if it is requested by the woman, if it is demanded by the woman, they allow. So this is the anti-abortionist position and the abortionist position. Okay. Let's see the science and the philosophy of all these points of view that we studied so far. Now, is the fetus a person? Again, the scientific information cannot pinpoint the time at which the developing fetus should be considered a human being. The question is primarily philosophical one now and not a scientific one. Is there any objective criteria for saying that the fetus is not a person? Some hold that human life begins when the brain starts functioning. The reason why this position is held is that death is a cessation. Death means what? When brain activity stops. So when brain activity begins, that is when human life begins. So it should be logical to argue that the human life begins from the moment of the brain starting to function. So brain activity is the basis of human life. Then is quickening. Is another opinion held. It means the noticeable movements of the fetus in the womb of the mother. Okay, and these movements are easily determined. It is easily felt by the mother. Aristotle, a philosopher, he permits abortion before quickening. So before the mother actually starts feeling those movements, before that time, Aristotle would support abortion. But we can say the fetus is not human until it moves and growth can be felt. So here's a question now. Is only movement a factor which makes us human beings? So just because we move, can we be called human beings? Is it movement that makes us human beings? Another factor is viability. It is another dividing line that some maintain. It is what distinguishes a non-human fetus from the human baby. The argument for viability is at this point the fetus could survive outside the womb. So viability means the fetus can survive outside the womb. The difficulty with this is how does viability transform the nature of the fetus? Okay. So before it can start surviving outside the womb, can we say it is not human being? So is survival outside the mother's body make us human beings? What is it that makes us human beings? Is it movements that make us human beings? Is brain activity making us human being? Or is our survival outside a mother's womb and our non-dependence, our not dependence on the mother's requirement, make us human beings? So, does this fetus really have an independent human life, whether it cannot move or not, whether it can exist beyond or outside a mother's womb or not? Are these the factors that make the fetus a baby or a human life or a human being? Can it have an independent human life besides these factors, besides movement, besides its existence outside mother's womb? Is physical independence a condition of being a human being? And moreover, see, birth is the most visible dividing line between a zygote and a child. One is not very much disturbed or morally repelled. We are not very hurt when a fetus is destroyed. as much as we are hurt when a baby is killed. Because that is how we see, right? We see a baby, we see the baby laugh, cry, feel, eat, live with us. We enjoy every moment with that baby, and that is why the killing of the baby becomes more hurtful than the killing of the zygote. But just because we can be with the baby and have seen the baby, does that make the death of the baby more hurtful than the death of the zygote, which we have not yet seen? So let's come to this anti-abortionist view. Why they are against abortion? Because they believe that fetus is a human being right from the time it is conceived, and therefore abortion becomes a murder. A child can be kept alive. So due to a scientific progress in the world and technological progress in the world, a child can be kept alive outside the mother's womb before 7 months. So viability also is not an issue now. A child can be kept alive through artificial methods outside the mother's body. And that is why abortion is not acceptable by some people. And these are the arguments given by Peter Singer, a philosopher. So he makes this argument: it is wrong to kill an innocent human being. A human fetus is an innocent human being. Therefore, it is wrong to kill a human fetus. It's a simple argument. It is wrong to kill an innocent human being. And fetus who has not done anything, who is not responsible for even being born, for even being conceived, it's innocent, right? And killing that, therefore, becomes wrong too. Now comes the theological or the religious point of view. According to the religious point of view, the moment soul comes into a body, that very moment human beings start existing. So it is soul that makes us who we are, the soul inside us that makes us who we are. And fetus being a human being, it is right from the time it is conceived, right from the time it takes place into the mother's womb, that very moment soul comes into its body, and that is what makes it human being. And therefore killing it is killing a human being. Now coming to the right to life argument. Mother's life at risk and fetus's life at risk. Okay, there are two positions now. One is the mother's life, which is at risk, and on the other hand, there is fetus's life. You have to decide whether you'll allow one to die or you'll allow both to die. See, now imagine because of that baby, the mother's life is at harm. Still, just because you don't want abortion to happen, will you let the mother die? Or will you prefer killing the fetus now? The mother's life is at risk. So the choice is not between one death or two deaths, but between two unavoidable deaths. You cannot avoid those deaths. Both will die, because if a mother's life is at risk, that means the child's life is also at risk. So by killing one, you're killing the other. Or by letting one live, you're killing the other. So what would you prefer? Killing one, that is the fetus, or letting the mother die, or letting both of them die because of each other? What will you choose? Now, the very important question: do you think making abortion legal will lead to increase in illicit sex between unmarried couples and increased abortion rate in the country? Just by making abortion legal, do you think unmarried couples will go on having unprotected sex, and this will lead to them conceiving, and this will further lead to abortion rate being increased? So, do you think abortion should be made legal or not? Thank you.